What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Billy Collins.
Matj.
And this is Magician.
And the Jock.
Guys, we're going to have a fun time on this one. This is a fun episode.
We're all having fun.
We're all friends. We're having fun. Most of you that watch the channel probably know already that I am a bartender, and this channel started out with me making bar drinks for people.
And I am a bar attender.
He is an attender. He was just kind of asking me some bar questions.
Yeah, I was just curious. Man. And I'm like, dude, we should talk about this.
Yeah.
This is fun stuff because you are an expert. So tell people, how long have you bartended?
So this is my 16th year bartending. So I was wondering about that yesterday. I was thinking, how long have I been bartending? And it's been 16 long years.
What your first bartending, was it just, hey, make a couple extra bucks on the weekend?
My kids were getting ready to go to college. I wanted to have some extra money.
We live in coastal eastern North Carolina, so it's a lot of restaurants, service industry, a lot of tourists. So
I started out as a waiter. I waited tables, and then I joke around with my tables a lot. And my manager at the time of the restaurant I was at, I looked at the guy. He had a tank top on. He was the whole big family, bucket hat, big burly guy. I said, and I looked at him and said, "All right, beefcake, what do you want there for dinner?" And he goes,
72-ounce steak.
He said, "Do you have chicken?" And I looked out and I saw. I said, "There's a couple seagulls out there, so yes, we have chicken." And then my manager at that point said,
"We need you.
You're a bartender.
Yeah,
we need you off the floor.
Sober people find you funny."
Yeah, but that guy, they loved me, and I mean, all my tables loved me, but I was better suited for the bar. I was quicker, wittier, kind of fast on my feet, could move, could retain knowledge.
You're not running back
quick.
And forth all the time. Okay, so that you started bartending at a restaurant that had a bar.
Yeah, it was a family restaurant, had a big bar.
Which is pretty common here. I mean, a lot of night spots are restaurants that at some point at night, maybe 9 o'clock, the restaurant shuts down and it just turns into a bar.
Yeah.
What was the first bar that you worked at? Did you make that transition, or did you do the restaurant?
I pretty much did all restaurants until I got to my current bar now, which we are a bar. Like just nothing but, I mean, we serve food
now,
but
we started at the downstairs is all, and that's Jack's, which for people who don't know, I mean, you were telling me about. I mean, it's a very successful bar.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's been around for a while. It's been grassroots to where it is now. The story of Jack's is incredible. The people there, I mean, we're all family. I mean, I love every single person that works there.
Do you have a sense of the volume it does, and maybe give people
I don't want to tell their numbers, but if you're familiar with bar terminology, on the weekends we stay pretty packed. We go anywhere from 3 to 4 deep in the bar. So which means we have lines waiting behind.
There's a lot of
lines,
excuse me,
trying to get a drink from us, and it's not that we're slow. I mean, we have 4 bartenders in our main bar and 2 in the small. It's just that is how busy we are. I mean, we are the destination place for our area.
For sure now.
I mean, with all we have great music. We've had our friend Matj Buck on here. He's a regular at our bar. Ray Wagner, Cooper. I mean, we have a ton of great acts that come in, and people just come. We are the shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I mean, it is a popular bar. A ton of people. And I'm just curious. So a restaurant bar, there's probably a lot more interaction with people.
There is, and I was going to
Jack's. It's what do you want? Okay, what do you want? Okay, it's less of a show at Jack's.
It was I've worked in restaurant bars and for many years, and been at Jack's. This is going on my 2nd year. So it was a big transition from going from a restaurant bar where you had whole plethora of different drinks that you can make, and
probably a lot more standing around too.
Right, yeah, and you could conversate more with people. At Jack's, we're such high volume, we have so much turnover.
You're probably taking food orders as well at a restaurant bar.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But we have so many people up there, and we're turning people right and left, getting drinks out. I mean, it's slinging drinks right and left. So the knowledge of drink selections the drink selections go down in a bar of Jack stature, but the volume's higher.
Right.
Opposed to like a restaurant bar that I'm used to, that you would make Manhattans. And
here's a drink menu, and they're
and it's a whole bunch of different, from transfusions to martinis, whatever. So
for somebody who, like, let's say, hey, I want to be a bartender, is there a school you go to, or is there a course? You probably have to have a base knowledge of. I know what Jack and Coke is. I mean, there's some drinks.
So there are. I mean, there's. I know in our area. There is a bartender.
Is that a requirement, I guess you could say?
Yeah, in most bars that I've been accustomed to, no.
They're hiring when they need somebody.
Yeah, especially now after COVID. I mean, if you have a pulse and you know how to turn a bottle, we can teach you.
Yeah.
But back in the old days, some of the bigger, higher-end restaurants would require, and some states actually require that you have a degree of some sort in mixology.
Mixology, yeah. Okay.
So, but as far as we're concerned, we don't. I mean,
kind of learn on the fly.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, if you do learn a drink, say from said bar master, well, odds are you're going to actually have to learn it the way the restaurant wants it made.
Interesting. So it's not uniform.
Right. I mean, there's staple drinks like.
It's like ordering a pizza at different restaurants. There's going to be different versions. It's still a pizza, but.
Yeah, you know that your margaritas are going to have your tequila and triple sec and sour or whatever. You know that your martinis, your classics, going to have the gin. Your vodka's obviously going to have the vodka martini action going on. You got to know the difference between a dry and on the rocks compared to stir. Those.
I know what a Jack and Coke is. I will reiterate that.
And actually, I mean, at Jack's, we get a lot of those. Rum and Coke, or I think the most difficult drink we make, and we do make a lot of drinks, but the most popular, most tedious drink would probably be the painkiller.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Okay. So being, I'm on the other side, hanging out with either young jock or been going to Jack's for a couple years now. It's a lot of fun. You're on that side, so I only know my interactions with the bartender, and I'm not sitting there watching the bartender. So I am curious, what would you say the most popular drink, that's a liquor drink, most popular shot?
So the most popular shots
in terms of volume
that we do are probably going to go in this order. It's going to be a Jaeger bomb, lemon drop.
Jaeger bomb's number one.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I pour a lot of Jaeger bombs. So Jaeger bombs, lemon drops, green tea shots, and they're all three. I mean, obviously, Jaeger bomb's going to have Jaeger and Red Bull in it. You got your lemon drops that's got your absolute citron vodka. You have your green tea, which is based with Jameson whiskey. So, I mean, it's
funny you say lemon drop. I want to say that was the first shot I ever ordered. I was at East Carolina, and any Pirate fans, we were in Hawaii for the Hawaii Bowl. I want to say it was 2007, and we got per diem because when we were traveling to North Carolina and Hawaii, they gave us a couple $100 for per diem,
Yeah.
And I look up on the board, and my buddy Wilson Rayner, who was my long snapper, he and his dad was in town, and I look and it's like lemon drops $2, and I'm like, all right, man. I'm about to Big D this, and hey man, let me get 3 lemon drops and
6 whole dollars.
And Wilson's dad was like, hey, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. I had no idea what a lemon drop was. They're like, dude, that's something sorority girls order. Yeah. You don't order that for
and oddly enough, out of those 3, the lemon drop's the most aggravating. It's not a lot of ingredients involved, but for some reason, when you put the sugar on the lemon wedge, bartenders don't like to get too sticky or dirty. And you'll see that we get aggravated really quickly when you have to make something with sugar and lemon because it gets all over your hands.
We got a complicated order.
Or the painkiller, which is the tedious one. It's got coconut syrup in it, so that gets all over your hands. It gets messy. And especially when people spill it, and you're looking at them, you just want to pull them over. And
so when people buy Jaeger bombs, do you have people that it's always. I see somebody that'll come up to the bar and just order a shot for themselves. Jaeger bomb that seems like a social shot. Is there a difference between a social shot and hey, let me just get a shot of Jameson to get the night going or something?
I find that most social shots are going to be hey, let me get a tequila shot. They want to get that quick reaction.
And when I say social, I mean like, hey, let me get 5 or 6 and buy it around for the boys.
So yeah, the more social drinks are going to be your lemon drops, your green tea shots, your buttery nipples, your Jaeger bombs, those type drinks that. Hey, I want 5 Jaeger bombs, and load
it's
them up.
It's something that universally, even people that don't like taking shots, be like, all right, I can take a Jaeger bomb. Like I hate when someone gives me like a warm, like
it's funny because
tequila shot.
What's funny is that no one likes Jaeger. Nobody. Yet it's our #1 selling shot. Every time you say Jaeger, they're like, oh, licorice or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're taking 5 deep in.
Yeah. That was big when I was in college. I thought that was like a college shot, but it's still...
Yeah, it's still relevant now, yeah.
Okay, so Jaeger bombs, lemon drops. What is a buttery nipple?
Buttery nipple is going to be butterscotch schnapps and like a Bailey's, an Irish cream type liqueur. And it's, to me, that's probably the tastier ones out of them.
Yeah, a Jaeger bomb doesn't... I'm trying to think what the taste is. I mean, it's like Red Bull and Jaeger don't even really go that well together, but...
For some reason, it does, though.
I mean, it goes okay, but it's not... Like Jack and Coke, to me, that's like peanut butter and jelly. Like those were... Jack and Coke is God's drink.
They marry very well together.
That's God's drink. It's like, because the Coke's pretty rough, it bounces off the deck.
And that's probably why I like rum and Cokes, Jack and Cokes.
See, I don't like rum and Coke. Rum's too sweet. I like rum. Yeah. I actually do rum with like Mountain Dew, or rum and like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, you could take rum and like back it off with the sugar, because, I mean, sugar cane is the base for rum, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why, it's a Jamaican-born... so that's why it's big in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, all those places. Fun
fact, rum is born, not hatched. Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought that?
What is the most... okay, first of all, how many drinks do you... It's kind of like magic, right? Like, how many magic tricks do you know? Well, I know 120 magic tricks, but I've got 10 that
Yeah, your staple tricks, yeah.
So, like, how many drinks do you think... You could, I mean, it's probably hard to ramble off when someone says, hey, let me get a red rug. You're like, oh, red rug.
Yeah.
Is it in the triple digits, you think?
I don't know if it's in the triple digits,
but it's a high. I mean,
here's the thing about drinks. It's like, different drinks are a base for other drinks. Like we talked before the show, a Long Island iced tea. LITs. Now, that's your staple drink, right? For the 4 liquors and triple sec that combine the drink.
Yeah, first of all, what is in a Long Island iced tea?
It's going to be vodka, tequila, rum, and gin. Then it's triple sec, orange juice, pineapple juice. Or I'm sorry, orange juice and not orange juice. Sorry. Now I've just drawn the sour mix and Coke. And
I was about to say.
Yeah. So. But with that being said, that is a base for other drinks. That those ingredients, there's 5 certain ingredients, or 4, if you take the triple sec out, because you have blue pools, blue motorcycles. You have the Grateful Dead, dirty bong water. You have liquid marijuana. All these drinks are
starting to notice a trend.
Yeah,
like a widespread panic concert.
It's like all those drinks come from a Long Island iced tea. That's like the grandfather of all those drinks.
Really?
Yeah, so that's
got 4 liquors, and that's considered a base.
Yeah.
Like someone just said, let me add some dirty bong water on top of it, or like.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's called that, but it looks like it.
Yeah, it's just murky.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the you know what the Arnold Palmer is, like tea and lemonade, right? You know what the John Daly is the Arnold Palmer and vodka. Yeah. That's okay.
So a lot of the drinks that you learn, I mean, you learn like a base drink catalog over the years, and then a lot of them will branch off from that.
Is there like, probably depends on where you work too. Like in Eastern North Carolina, this might be more popular versus if you worked in Manhattan, you might not like. Are drinks universal everywhere you go, or
your staples are? And then other variations. For example, when I worked at one restaurant, our painkillers didn't have it didn't have spice rum.
What?
But where I'm at now, we have spice rum.
So that's where you're talking about.
Or not spice rum, but coconut rum.
That's where you're talking about.
Because
going from one place, you got to learn learn that bar's version.
Because the base for a painkiller was actually, it's Pusser's rum. Basically has the rights to a painkiller because it's Pusser's spice rum.
Pusser's?
Yeah.
What a great name. Just makes me thirsty.
Every time I look at a painkiller,
The thing just pops in your mouth, man.
But, so different bars have different, like I said, when you go to a bar, you learn how they want you to make it and not necessarily how you've been taught or trained to make it.
Now, how much liquor is in if I order a Jack and Coke, how much of that's, because I'm used to, when I pour it myself, I go I put ice in a cup and I'll do 50% Jack, 50% Coke, but there's the ice too, so it might come on out to only to like a third.
Depending on, once again, when you're, it's usually 1.5 ounce to 2 ounce is going to be your typical. A double is going to be obviously, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So,
and you just do all that by
you over time you get accounting, you get a cadence in your head of how a drink should be poured.
You can probably see the level inside the cup.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, I tell people, I'm like, get a shot glass, pour it, take a mental note of where that, fill it with ice if it's going to be on ice, or if it's a neat shot.
Probably get used to the weight of the cup with it in.
You do your counts, get it in your head, lock it in, because when you make, God, I would think we make close to 1,000 drinks a night, I would think. Per person.
1,000 drinks per person?
Yeah, I would think.
Oh, per bartender.
Yeah, per bartender, not patrons, but
there's a lot of world records going on.
So after a while, it's like brushing your teeth. Just pour it and go. So, but yeah.
So you see there's a lot of regulars that probably come into Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, call it 10 or 20 people that they don't even have to order, they just look at you? Like when I walk up, I'm getting either a Jack and Coke, maybe sometimes I'll get a Red Bull vodka, but more times than not, like
I can,
Lauren will show up with a Jack and Coke.
Yeah, for the most part, if you're,
you'll look at me and be like, Jack and Coke? Like I don't even
by
have to
rule,
say
it takes me 3 times for you to tell me your name that I learn your name. Same thing with the drink. If I see you 3 times in the bar, I'm going to know, oh, you want Natural Light? It's down before you even get up there.
Got it.
Or Mick Ultra or whatever. We have regulars that's all they drink. We have one they're really good customers. We know it's going to be Wild Turkey and Fresca. It's like before we start pouring it out. And it's nice because when you're busy.
That's a great way to call an alcoholic. He's a really good customer.
But what we love about those people is that once they become regulars, we know what they want. That's another person out of the way.
Yeah.
And speed is a key in a speed well, and that's what we are. We're a speed bar.
Right.
So all of our wells are designed for speed, accuracy, and out.
What's a well?
A well is your workstation where you have all your well liquors, like your bottom shelf liquors, and then your ice and your cup set up.
Got it.
So,
okay. Sometimes. Okay, first of all, is there preferential treatment to women?
No, absolutely not, Matthew Dodge.
Because I'll sometimes use them as bait, like, hey, take care of her, and then I'll order right alongside of her.
Me being a red blood American male, single,
ready to mingle.
If I see a hot chick, I'm gonna see a hot chick, but they don't get any preference over anyone else, and that's the God's honest truth. I will take whatever because
chicks don't spend money.
If I'm in that bar, everyone's a potential customer to pay me. Right? I tell everybody when you become a bartender, treat it as that you are a sole proprietor business yourself. And all those people are your customers. And no matter what, you're not going to show, it's equal opportunity for everyone that comes up there. Because, what if a guy comes up and I was like, hey, dude, this chick's hotter than you, I'm going to get her. And that guy's going to like, okay, well, I've got $100
She's not
tip.
harder than me. Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So
it's like a science and an art.
I will check them out. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to look and say, okay, well, you stay right there. I'll be right. Let me finish these people. But if someone else comes up and helps them, then my main priority is not to hook up at that point. My main priority is to get
hook up with her later.
Get them drunk enough to is to make sure that everyone gets a drink, gets out, and rotates.
Can you feel? Are your spidey senses going off that somebody's like? Because I'm like, does that annoy you? First of all, if someone's holding it.
Yeah,
But can you see me like in your sense? Have you ever sensed someone like, man, what the heck? Come on. I mean, there's some times where you're like, man, I just like we've talked about other establishments in the city, and you're like, dude, it's a great place it's a great bar unless you want to order a drink.
Yeah, and it's very hard to because you have people that come and go, but I visually and all the bartenders are really good at this. In my bar, I can't speak for other bars. But visually seeing who,
who's ready to order.
Like if you see me, if I'm pouring a drink or whatever, if I get an order, I'm looking around because I want to take kind of a mental note. You're not going to get 100% right all the time, but I try to take a mental note of who was there prior. Sometimes I screw up and I might overstep somebody or, somebody will just be blunt about trying to jump over and you just want to get them away from the bar as soon as possible or you end up cutting them off or whatever the case may be. But we try really hard to take a mental note of who came up first, who came in. I had a guy 2 weeks ago. So like I said before, we're deep. You have rows of people. Well, one person I just served and then a guy came up and stood up there and goes, dude, I've been waiting for 15 minutes. I said, you weren't waiting at my bar for 15 minutes. You might have been waiting back there to get up here in line, but you were not here because I just served that person.
That didn't make you want to drop everything and serve him when he said that?
Yeah. Trust me, it moves you to the back of the line.
Right.
So you want to talk about a few things that aggravate bartenders?
Yeah. Well, I had one more question about when you're serving. What percentage of drinks are purchased by men? What percentage are purchased by women? So is that, if you had to guess, 80-20?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, 80-20, because you get the women that come up and order the drinks and just say, he's buying them.
That was going to be another question. So first of all, okay, because I figured it was about 80-20. Of that 80 of the men, what would you say half of their drinks they're going to chicks? Maybe, maybe even more.
If someone's coming up in order and say, let me get a Bud Light and can I get a
something with
let me get a margarita
umbrella in it. Yeah,
or let me get a Bahama Mama or something or a Jack's Juice, whatever, which is our rum punch. But that's you can tell.
Do you see some women? Because they'll come up to me. I remember. I think we were hanging out that night, and one girl looked at me and said, "Hey, can you buy me and my friends drinks?" And I looked at her. I'm like, "Do I look like a guy that's going to buy you drinks?" And she's like, "No." And but do you see? Because you've got it's chaos where I'm at. You're looking out at chaos, but you guys are obviously sober. So, do you see some chicks that are just milking the same girl has brought 10 different
Well, she'll bring this one guy up, and she'll have all of her friends that come up and say, he's going to buy us drinks and stuff. And so
the guy's like, well, I can't look like a cheapskate.
So guys, bartenders by nature are kind of assholes. So sometimes when I see that or if see someone's taking advantage of a guy, I kind of that part of me pops off.
It's not cheap. 8 drinks? Or
yeah. I mean, you're talking
like $5-6 a piece.
Yeah, you're talking $60-$70. So I immediately go, okay, well, if he's buying you a drink, that means you have plenty of money to leave me a tip. Oh, no. Or I'll say, you have plenty of money to buy me a drink then, right?
Right.
And they're like, well, okay, what drink do you want? It's like, no.
So you actually don't feel bad for the guy simping.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm going to turn it back and be like.
Yeah. And fortunately, you guys do it's not based on name. You do the.
We have a tab number that we.
When did y'all start doing that?
So we
It wasn't
Jackson's
like that
done
a couple of years. It wasn't like that, man. I took like a 5-year
so
hiatus.
during COVID, we didn't start tabs because we were a restaurant at that point. We had to switch to a
you had to order
food.
a hot dog and 8 Jack and Cokes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't have that, and we just started implementing it about a year ago because it's so effective and it's high efficiency.
Because people are like, D-O-D-G.
Yeah, and when you have a band that's playing and you have 700 people in your bar and they're all talking, screaming and stuff, last thing you know, what's your last name?
Yeah.
And when they're half hammered.
And they're like, Miller, and you're like, great.
Yeah, it's like 15.
Yeah. But I'm saying that probably helps if someone walks up and says, hey, we're putting it on Simp's tab over there. If you don't know who that is, like, well, he's got to come over here.
Yeah, I tell him, it's like,
and
I need to
adds
see
that
a
little
number.
speed bump.
And that way it gives me an opportunity. It's like,
He confirms.
I was like, hey, are you ordering these drinks? And they're like, yes or no. So it's a win-win situation. It's for not only us, but for the patron as well.
Yeah. And I always say it like, man, your bartenders are always giving me their number. They leave off 3 or 4 numbers, but they always ask me for my number whenever I order something. It's so
like,
weird.
why is that? Why are you asking for my number?
I think they'd have it memorized. Okay, so what's the most? We've been on the drinks thing for a while. What is something that just grinds your gears, and does that grind every bartender? Is there universal things that bartenders, if y'all were sitting around, you'd be like, yeah, I hate this?
So we've had this conversation with all the bartenders after work. We talk to them about the stuff. Like, a few things that aggravates. One is a snap.
Oh.
If you snap at a bartender, I can guarantee, as God is my witness,
People do that.
Oh, yeah. You will go to the back of the line. That is the biggest disrespect of a bartender ever, is to snap.
Excuse me,
and not
Flo?
just bartenders, anyone. You should never snap at anyone. It's just disrespectful. It's like, right. I'm not a dog. I'm not there for you to snap at. 2 is when people ask for a double Red Bull and vodka. I'm like, do you want double Red Bull or do you want double vodka? Well, I want double vodka. Then say, can I get a Red Bull vodka? I want the vodka double. Or, don't say, oh.
Got it.
Because I'm like, okay, well.
Which is just kind of a common, probably just slip of tongue, but you've heard it so many times.
It irritates the shit out of us. I mean, it's just like, can I get a double Coke and rum? I'm like, you want a double rum or you want double Coke? Do you want it in a tall glass or you want a short glass? I mean, you want
a scotch and water, hold the scotch.
Yeah, what's your order here? Because we know what you're ordering, but it just still grinds the gears. But another thing that's very aggravating is when you order a drink and then you turn away and you're talking to your friends and I'm trying to get your number or I'm like trying to get your attention. They're just sitting there talking away and I've got 6 drinks 6 friggin' painkillers that you just baby make.
Have you ever had people order like that and then just walk off?
Oh yeah.
And they just.
Yeah, and I either have someone, luckily we have really good bar guests that will grab that person and say, hey dude, come on.
Because it's probably an honest mistake more times than not. But for you, if it's a well-oiled machine, if it's a 5-second delay here, it does add up.
I had this girl that ordered these painkillers, like 6 painkillers, and then she turns around and she's not paying attention or whatever, and then luckily, like I said, we have good bar guests that got her attention.
You saying bar guests?
Yeah. I call the people that come to our bar guests because we treat them
because they're waiting to get a drink and this chick's holding them up. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're just kind of like, oh, come on, lady.
Karen, come on.
Or one time I had this girl that was ordering. She ordered drinks and then she's like looking about, what do you want? What do you want? And I'm like, no, you're done with your order. We're not taking everybody else's order. You're not the bartender. I'm the bartender. What's your number? Let's go.
So have your drinks ready.
Or yeah, if your drinks are sitting there ready for you, then go. Because, like you said, 5 seconds to me is maybe 5 seconds to you, but it's an eternity for us.
Right.
Because I'm like, I can turn a drink out in anywhere from, depending on the difficulty of a drink, from 15 seconds to 40 seconds, depending on. So each second counts when you're in that mode.
Have you thought of, because you're a magician as well, but at where you're at now, there's not time to be like,
No.
I want you to think of blah, blah, blah. But have you thought of like, I don't know if there's anywhere around here where, I'm thinking of like Vegas and stuff where it's more of a performance.
Now, when I was at a restaurant atmosphere, you have time because everybody's got their orders, unless it's like a busy weekend and we're just pumping out drinks. But for the most part, you have a little bit of downtime. And as a bartender, you're not just a bartender serving. You can be a psychologist, you can be an entertainer, you can be a comedian, whatever. I mean, you wear multiple hats. Well, luckily, me being a professional magician, I would do magic. And
someone walks up and they're like, yeah, I think my wife ran out on me. You're like, is that your card?
You're thinking of the Three of Hearts.
Like a balloon animal. I don't want to talk about this depressing shit.
Shut up.
So people do come in and start, you could probably see it on their face. What's that Kenny Chesney song, The Good Stuff, where he like pulled up and the bartender pours him a glass of milk and he's like, that's nice, I'll have that or whatever.
Yeah.
You can probably see it on their face.
I can see if they're having a bad day or if they're, celebrating or they're just there to relieve some daily stress from work or something.
So guys, if you're having a bad day, don't come into Jack's on Friday or
Saturday. Don't come Friday and tell me your woes. I mean, Sunday maybe, Thursday night maybe.
What's your number? Oh, why do you want to talk? No, I need to charge you for this drink. Keep it moving, Leroy.
So and don't ask me for a magic trick. I mean, I love magic. I mean, it's one of my top. I love it. I love it dearly. But
like making money more.
Yeah, but when I'm, asshole deep in customers, I don't have time to show you a card trick.
That was an interesting description. Like that? Okay, so I came up with a couple questions, and let me see. So you know a lot of the people that are at the bar.
Yeah.
Like you have friends that are out there.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever get are there ever nights where you're like, damn, I wish I was on the other side? They're looking like they're having so much fun. Or do you have time to even, like Spare Change played the other night. You didn't have time to stop and...
There are days where I think we would be fooling ourselves if, as a bartender, if you didn't see your friends out and you go, man, I wish I wouldn't. But for the most part... When
your friends are out, that's the money-making...
Yeah,
Friday, Saturdays.
I usually tell people as a bartender, this is I had the best job because I can still hang out with my friends because they come see me. Plus, they have to come pay me to hang out with me. So it's the best. But there are times where I'm like, man, I just want to go out there and chill with my boys and whatever. But it's my job. It's my profession. It's what I make all my money from. We make a damn good living at it.
Right.
Our hours.
I was going to say, what's the difference in money making? Jack's is a pretty coveted place. I mean, you're talking about bartenders are waiting in line for somebody to quit so they can work there.
So when I first came there, first night, my bar manager goes, "Okay, well, we didn't do bad. We did this amount of money." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's not bad to split through 7 people, I guess." He's like, "No, dude, that's your cut." I was like, "Oh."
He's like, "Fake bricks, order confirm."
So, it just took enough. Now, we don't work. We're closed more than we are open. So we have to get it. And then we do have slow times. Our busy times are pretty much from April through September. Where you have to make as much as you can, and then you stockpile. I mean, you saw it this year. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to eat, so you have to...
It's almost like being a landscaper in Eastern North Carolina. The grass only grows when the warm months.
Right, so you kind of have
to... wintertime, you're scrambling to...
You really have to learn how to manage your money correctly, put some aside. I thought I put enough aside. I didn't, but that'll change this year. So, but yeah, it's very lucrative. I mean, the hours are pretty good. Like I said, I can still see my friends that come up there, and it's just, I don't know, I love it.
What is your, what's your favorite? What do you like the most about bartending, and what can't you stand? Not what annoys you, but just about being a bartender.
I think what I love the most about bartending is how it keeps your mind fresh, and you have to think on your toes, and it's like a challenging. And now that I'm hitting the age, I'll be 50 this year, so I was like, it keeps my mind racing and going.
Red 18.
And I think also with that being
said, how they
said,
play bingo? Isn't that how bingo goes?
B4.
That's right.
But when people come in and you see on a regular basis, those people become kind of like your family, and you learn everything about them, where they come from, their family, what problems they have, what they can help you with if you have problems, and it becomes like
it's very social.
Yeah,
you're not in a cubicle.
And so when someone passes away, like we had someone, one of my bar guests pass away over Christmas time, and I hadn't seen him in 3 years, but it still hit you hard because you knew that person for 12 years. Saw him every single day.
Because people are habitual, so if they go to this restaurant at this time on this day.
That's the good part, and then also the bad part is like when someone passes away or someone moves away, you kind of miss those people.
But what's the annoying part of it? Like working late or?
I think the most annoying part is
being the only sober person at a bar.
That has something to do with it, because as being the only sober person in that area, when you cut someone off and they argue with you about cutting
that
off,
was going to be my next question. Okay, so having to be the only grown up in the room.
Because you brought up a good topic or a good scenario about being a bartender, because we're held at a higher value because
I have to ask your permission. Like, can I please have something?
You're fighting for my attention.
Please have my
You're
money.
asking for my permission, and then we can tell you whether you're done or you're not.
And I, along with 15 other people, are raising our hands trying to get your attention,
Right.
even though we know logically you're a bartender.
So when I have someone that comes
you have some
up,
authority,
and being drunk takes all your sense of sanity out of the picture. So when I have somebody comes up and goes, or they're like Chinese eyes, and they're like swaying.
Whoa.
Well, they're very squinty, and
I know what you meant. That's like, you didn't make it any better.
It was very.
They had coronavirus. Billy, come on, dude.
But when they're swaying, or I know when to cut them off.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, because there isn't it's not like you have a breathalyzer. Like, all right, probably a month or two ago, I'm out with Chris, and I'm looking fresh, got my khakis on, nice shirt, and I'm sitting there at the end of the bar, and I feel this wet sensation from my neck. I hope he watches this, by the way, from my neck to like my calves. And Kayla was there, like, and Kayla, of course, biggest jerk ever, laughing. And then Chris Jones walks up and's like, "Oh man, you ain't gonna be able to. You can't recover from that." A guy threw up on my back. So that's an obvious. All right, dude, you're done.
Yeah, That he.
Hopefully, you can catch them before they throw up.
We had. Speaking of Chris Jones, we have a friend. I won't call him out on here because in case he's watching.
Chris Jones?
No, Chris Jones's party. Remember his birthday party?
Oh yeah.
One of the guys was, I cut him off, and he got mad, and he was like, "Why'd you cut me off?" I'm like, "Because your shirt's off."
Yeah, that's right.
And you can barely stand.
There's no blood in my alcohol system. So you can pick it up on whether they're slurring or if
they're slurring or they're being belligerent.
I mean, that's got to be awkward, especially if it's a friend of yours. Like, hey, dude. Or is it easier when it's a friend because you can be like, come on, man, like.
Yeah, well, when I rebutted them saying, "Hey, man, we're bros, man. You can't believe you cut me off." I was like, well, if we're really good friends, you would respect my judgment of cutting you off because I'm doing you a favor.
You know how they reply to that? They throw up on me.
Yes. So, funny story about that, about cutting someone off. So, I was at one of my bars that I worked at. Guy was just angry. Actually, I cut him off because it was It was UNC versus Duke, and for you guys here in North Carolina, that is one of the biggest rivalries in
It's
basketball.
like Michigan, Ohio State,
Yeah,
Carolina,
so
Duke. Played
this
you're
guy
talking about
was-
the Final Four game?
No, this is a couple years ago. It's
Got
the ACC tournament. So he's sitting there and he's drunk, and I'd already kind of like backed him off. I said, "Here's some water," and if a bartender says, "Hey, here's some water,"
It's a hint.
take their advice to take the water and drink the water.
Here's a loaf of bread.
Yeah, so he's sitting there, and if next thing you know, he's jumping on the bar. Well, we're a family restaurant, and I grab him up. I was like, "Dude, come on, get off the bar. It's not that type bar." And he was like, "Bye, sorry."
My bad. I thought it was a good idea.
I was like, "Look, here's your tab. You're done. I'm cutting you off." He's like, "F you. You can't cut me off." I'm like, "Yeah, I just did."
because you don't
It's
have you don't have bouncers at a restaurant.
Yeah, I don't. And he was like, "I will wait for you after work." Now, mind you, this was like 6 o'clock in the evening. We closed at 10 in the restaurant. He said, "I'm gonna wait for you in the parking lot." I'm like, "Sure.
Here's the water for your troubles.
Wait for me in the parking lot."
Yeah.
I shit you not. I walk out, and we had these benches outside of the restaurant. He's sitting there slumped over like this.
You look like Bobby Cox of the Braves. It's just like,
He's like this. He's all like, so I go, "Hey, man." And he wakes up. He goes, "Oh." I said, "Do you need a ride?" He's like, "Yeah, can you take me home?" I was like, "Yeah, do you know where you live?" He goes, "I have my driver's license." I'm like, "Do you live at that place?"
he's like, wait, man, I'm supposed to be whooping your ass
And he
or
goes-
something.
Yeah, so he totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that as a bartender, you're going to have to take. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can be, you'll have your best friends come up there, you have your worst enemies by the end of the night. Because you're trying to be,
You
we
have
are
people
looking
that
for
throw
their
ice.
safety.
You have people that throw ice at you from like
You have
20 feet away.
6'2", 240-pound
All right.
ex
Okay, not 240, but
225 that will sit there and throw ice at you. Remember,
and then I'll just
I-
like hide, dude. It was he turned into a South Pole elf when that happened.
I turn around, the guy shot, mother F.
I'm like, first one on the house. I get it. Yeah, because I used to love playing beer pong in college, and now it's ice throwing is my new beer pong. And
So-
people are always like, "Do you know him?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's Billy. Just yell his name. He'll love it." They're
He
like, "Thanks,
loves
bro."
it.
Oh, let me see. What other questions would I have for a Bart? Do bartenders get laid a lot? Because the perception would be, "Hey, man, you're a good-looking dude. Chicks are coming up to you." We talked about the power dynamic or whatever. Do you get? Or let me rephrase it. Do you have? I mean, not many chicks ever have tabs. When they say "close your tabs," girls are like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
But do you have them leaving their number?
I've had a few numbers left.
And have you texted? Like, do you
No,
feel awkward? Like,
I don't. Yeah, I
like,
feel kinda
hey,
weird.
you're the blackout girl. Like,
Yeah, hey, remember me? I'm the bartender that No, I don't ever call them or text them. Usually, if I'm
unless it's a slow day and you actually been talking to her.
yeah, if it's like a hey, let's get to know each other a little bit more, then maybe. But as far as that, when they're drinking, they leave a number. No, and that for the most part, I don't think any of the girls do as well. Simply because you're at a bar drinking drunk. Like, what kind of? Nothing against that because I love it, but it's also like, do you remember who I am? Do you remember what was being said? I could have been a jerk to you and not even known it, but as far as getting laid,
Okay, opportunities to get laid. You don't have to air out all your
yeah.
dirty laundry.
You do have opportunities because you now become, like we talked about, that higher value person that people seek out for. So when you have repeat people, you get relationships with these people.
It's like situational authority.
Right. Yeah. So
But it's like after the fact. Yeah, I could see where I would feel awkward.
yeah, it's like I don't want to text this person or call.
Yeah.
But maybe if they come again and say, hey, you never called me. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, it's kind of like my thing. I don't really call in the heat of a Saturday night at
And
12:30 at night.
Lady, you wrote down 17 numbers in a row. Like this. Like I don't think
Yeah, I
that's a
couldn't
real
decipher
phone.
which ones were the.
What's the funniest thing you've had written or drawn on a tab?
Well, I don't know if it's funny. It's more flattering. Like, I had a girl that because like especially, it's not that I'm trying to be intimidating or anything. It's just like it's
you have an angry look.
No. When I look at people, like I look straight at them because I want to like hear
you're doing
them.
to me right now.
Yeah, I'm doing this, but I want to clearly understand what's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Right. And one girl at the end of the night wrote on one of my tabs. She's like, "You have the prettiest eyes," and they were like, I was so intimidated every time you looked at me. And I was like, I didn't mean that. You know, it was funny to me because I don't mean that. It's just I'm trying to like make sure that I get the order right. So I'm
got
looking.
15 in line right behind you.
Yeah. So.
Because I love to draw on the tabs.
You draw, yeah.
Especially
I know
for old Lauren. I draw a stick figure.
booty pics.
I draw. Yeah. Oh, I love doing that.
So it's the girls have a lot of good things.
I was gonna say.
That I can't think of anything right offhand, but they get, you know.
We need to bring in some of your coworkers.
Oh God, they would love it to talk about this stuff. Just
spotlight.
Well,
check out my OnlyFans.
On top of that, it's like just talk about some of the annoying things that we go through, and some of because the girls, I feel real bad for the girls too, because you have all these guys that are like trying to hook up or think, oh, look at me, you know, they're trying to, you know, alpha dick everyone else out there, and the girl's just like, look, this is my job. Like, I just want to make money. So do you want to drink or do you not? I'm not saying that they don't think some of the guys are cute or good looking and stuff like that, but they're professionals. They're there to make your drinks. They're there. They're going to entertain. They're going to have fun with you.
Lauren wrote on my cup the other night, I'm married. So I'm
which
and
then
she gave a cup to Jordan, fully vetted, was out with us, that said, me too. So like, I was sitting there just like, what's up? And a girl would be like, your cup. And I'm like, no, it's a total joke. So, well, yeah, she loves to blow up the spot. They're funny. They're subtly funny.
Like, all the girls I work with, and even my bar manager, Josh, are just the most hilarious. I mean, they're funny, low-key funny. That
you're friends with who you work with.
Oh, I love them all. Yeah,
sometimes it's good to work with someone and become friends than go to work with a friend.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different.
Yeah, because we're all there, and we hang out after work, and, you know, we talk, and we're I mean, basically, you spend a good majority of your time.
They all call you daddy.
They do, or papa, because I'm old. So, but yeah, they're all great. They're all hard workers. They're all funny. So,
Man.
But you do get the little catty fights every now and then.
Oh my God, too many hens in the kitchen.
That's what I'm just like. I'm just gonna stand over here.
Yeah. Well, this has been enlightening.
Hopefully
this has been entertaining. I mean, we didn't really. Instead of us theorizing on other stuff, I'm like,
yeah, it's kind of like an in-depth look of what kind of goes into
raising
my life outside of YouTube. So, which actually helps fund some of the stuff that we do, and
which actually makes more money.
Oddly enough, but you can help with that. By the way, if you all you have to do is this, because it's free, it's not going to cost you anything, is to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, man. And when you see Billy, snap at him. Throw a piece of ice.
Yeah.
Front of the line.
Front of the line. You're guaranteed to get your drink first of all. So, like I said, guys, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button.
Smash the like button.
And we'll see you on the next video.
Peace.